these changes.
We can talk to Damien Stone now, who's a Poole resident and a member of the campaign group Keep Our NHS Public. Damien, good morning.
Good morning.
Your reaction to the news that Poole will lose its A&E and those services will move to Bournemouth?
Well, it's certainly not a day to celebrate. Poole is going to lose its A&E. St Leonard's Alderney hospitals are going to close. Beds are being lost at Christchurch, Dorchester, Portland and Wareham. And this is going to cost £150 million to move Poole A&E to Bournemouth. Now, I'm sure that money could be better spent, plus the fact it is going to lead to more risk to people trying to get to an A&E under a blue light.
You think there will be more risk as a result of these decisions?
Well, back in 2015, the Dorset CCG commissioned some work from a private company, and they produced something called the Travel Times Analysis, and that said that Poole was the preferred option for A&E, and it said that a safe travel time really is 30 to 45 minutes. That's what they said, and we're looking at people having to, it may be that they wouldn't even get to Bournemouth A&E within an hour, the golden hour. So I think whichever way you look at the figures, there are more people going to be taking longer to get to Bournemouth than they would going to Poole, because it's a fact that people in the east of the county can more easily get to either Poole or Bournemouth, but for people in the west, it's a real struggle for them to get to Bournemouth. And let's face it, Bournemouth is one of the most congested towns in the entire country.
And you talk about the cost that will be incurred by sort of moving these resources. That's capital expenditure. By and large, those are one-off expenses. The CCG saying that, look, if we don't make these kind of changes, then the deficit that locally the NHS will be running in is something like £158 million by 2021. Do you concede that doing nothing is not an option?
Well, I think the reason they talk of a shortfall is because this is against the backdrop of £22 billion worth of cuts. There was a general election recently, and it almost went the other way. And the Labour government was saying that they would have stopped these plans full stop, and they would invest the money in the NHS and put in the £22 billion, which the government isn't going to spend. So this is, at the end of the day, all about cuts. And when they talk about plugging a gap, it is because of this lack of investment from the national government. And I have written to the Dorset CCG, and I've asked them to tell us whether this expenditure on building new services in Bournemouth, is that going to be PFI money? Can they rule that out? Are we going to be saddled with debt for the next few years? Or is this money coming from government coffers? I mean, either way, people want proper investment in the NHS.
Damien, good to talk to you this morning. Damien Stone from Keep Our NHS Public. There are other elements to the on the line now by Claudia